A controversial call has been made by scientists for the reintroduction of wolves in the Highlands. Researchers at University of Leeds say the move could keep red deer numbers under control and help fight climate change. But the plan is opposed by the National Farmers Union, which branded it totally unacceptable. We spoke to the report's co-author, Lee Schofield. So Lee, just explain to us how wolves would help in Scotland.
So because we haven't had wolves or any other large predators present in the UK for several hundred years, red deer in particular and other deer species also have been allowed really to grow unchecked. And it's believed that today we have something like 400,000 red deer in Scotland, which is, an incredibly high density, much higher than you would expect in a kind of more intact, natural environment. And so those huge numbers of deer have had a massive impact on woodlands. They have prevented the regeneration of trees, so that even though we've got lots of mature trees, those trees haven't really been able to reproduce. They haven't been able to replace themselves, and so over time we've lost woodlands. So our modelling suggests that if wolves came back, we would have a population of something like 160 animals or so. They would reduce the numbers of deer, and that would allow woodland regeneration that would sequester about 1 million tonnes of carbon dioxide every year.
The concern, obviously, from farmers is that the wolves will not just focus on deer.
Yeah, absolutely. Wolves. One of the reasons wolves are so incredibly successful across their global range is that they are a generalist. They will eat a range of different species. And experience from across Europe and the rest of the world shows that, yes, indeed, they will take livestock, and sheep are very easy prey. But we can learn a lot from other countries that live alongside wolves already. So, in Europe, yes, wolves eat sheep, but it's thought that they eat something like 0.065% of the global of the European sheep population. Now, that is a very, very small number of sheep, but to an individual farmer who might be losing one, that is a real tragedy. And what our paper is trying to do is not to suggest we need to be bringing back wolves right now. We know that's not a realistic proposition at this stage, but it's to inform sensible, balanced debate. And, how do we weigh up the impacts on sheep farmers and the massive carbon sequestration benefits that wolves coming back would bring, alongside lots and lots of other ecological benefits too.
Very briefly, you were talking about introducing them into areas like the Cairngorms and this northwest and central Highlands. How could you keep them there?
They would spread. They can cover really, really large areas. We modelled those areas in particular because they are the wildest areas. They are the ones with the most potential for woodland regeneration. But, wolves have shown themselves to be incredibly adaptable. You see them wandering through kind of urban fringe areas across Europe without a huge amount of concern. There have been no fatal wolf attacks for the last 40 years in Europe.
And just very briefly in a sentence, Lee, if you would, what are the challenges against this becoming a reality? How likely is this to happen?
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, to be honest. I think the first predator we might see returning to the UK is the lynx, which is a much lower impact, much sort of more stealthy predator. I hope that might introduce us to the idea that we can live alongside predators without any negative consequences, and then perhaps wolves will follow on in the longer term. But it's finding ways to ensure that sheep farming isn't negatively impacted or is compensated, or we find ways to manage that coexistence. It will be a long road ahead, but I believe the benefits would be really, really significant, and we need to give them proper consideration.
Lee, thanks for joining us on Scotland Tonight.
Thank you.